Al Jazeera said that 3 Palestinians were killed in the West Bank yesterday, and a spokesman for Palestinian Authority Chairman Mahmoud Abbas said that Israel committed a war crime. But what actually happened? We'll get into all that on today's show, as well as Bibi Netanyahu's brother questioning Joe Biden's mental health, and Israel and Vietnam signing a trade agreement. I'm Justin, and this is the Israel Guys. That was an Arab nurse seen dancing with an elderly Israeli patient. Yep, straight up apartheid for you right there. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Welcome back to the show, guys. It's great to be back with you today. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube or wherever you're watching. Give us a follow. Also, check out our other social media pages. Or if you want to come volunteer with us on one of our volunteer programs, you can go to serveisrael.com/volunteer to sign up for one of our volunteer trips. Guys, tonight officially starts the 9th of Av, or as it's called in Hebrew, Tisha B'Av. It's a national day of mourning and fasting for the Jewish people. It marks the destruction of both the first and second temples in Jerusalem, along with a whole lot of other tragedies that happened to the Jewish people, or just different tragedies that happen throughout history. But it's a day of mourning and fasting for the Jewish people. But yeah, it's a really special time here in Israel. Guys, check out this video. The caption on Twitter, or X as it's now called, I guess, it reads, quote, "Touching. The brother of the Palestinian young man who was shot and killed from Israeli gunfire early in Nablus city cries in pain after receiving the news of the death of his brother." That's horrible, right? It's so sad. It just makes your heart ache, right? Well, and Al Jazeera said about this same incident, they said, quote, 3 Palestinians killed by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank. And a spokesman for Palestinian Authority Chairman Mahmoud Abbas called the incident, quote, the murder of 3 young men and a, quote, war crime. The Israeli government, he continued, will alone bear the consequences of the aggression and crimes committed by the occupation forces or the terror of the settlers. Also, another person on Twitter said, quote, reports from Nablus this morning indicate that an Israeli death squad ambushed a Palestinian vehicle on Mount Gerizim, shot up the vehicle, killing its 3 passengers. Further info is unclear, as no one, not even ambulances, were allowed to approach the vehicle. So what on earth is going on here? It sounds like, Israel's committing, as the spokesman said, a war crime. Something crazy is happening, an Israeli death squad, they ambushed a Palestinian car and they're not even letting ambulances come in. What's the real story? There's just one small problem, one issue with all of these statements that I just read off. These 3, quote, young men who were killed, you know who they were? They were all Hamas terrorists who drove up to an IDF checkpoint at the entrance to Nablus, or Shechem, with M16 assault rifles and opened fire on the soldiers manning it, shooting over 100 rounds. Guys, we heard the shooting because we're here on the Mount of Blessing, here on Mount Gerizim, and so we heard the shooting. It was crazy. A lot of rounds were fired. In self-defense, IDF returned fire, neutralizing all 3 terrorists. While no IDF soldiers were injured, which is crazy in itself. Yeah, like that's really all there is to the story. Like, there's not a lot to get into. 3 terrorists tried to harm the state of Israel and suffered the consequences in return. The These were not innocent Palestinian young men who were murdered by the Israeli occupation forces. They tried to attack the IDF. In self-defense, the IDF returned fire, killing all of them. Like, I don't know about you, but the way that these social media users and even the mainstream media, Al Jazeera, are able to lie through their teeth like this, it's truly astounding to me. It's crazy how they're able to lie. Guys, the IDF is not murdering people. We're going to set the record straight. The IDF is not murdering people. Instead, they have been doing a phenomenal job keeping the residents of Judea and Samaria safe. That just the fact that no one was injured when 3 terrorists approached them, opened fire at close range, it's proof in itself that the IDF is on top of it, that they're doing a phenomenal job. Yes, God has his hand on the people of Israel. He's also protecting his people, but the IDF is indeed doing a phenomenal job at keeping their Judea and Samaria safe. And no, they're not going around murdering innocent Palestinians. Also, last night, there was a huge counter-terror operation. They went into several towns in the region here, and they arrested 32 suspected terrorists with no IDF injuries reported. Are you ready to unlock the incredible wisdom hidden within the Hebrew Bible? We're excited to introduce Israel 365's newest book, 75 Hebrew Words You Need to Understand the Bible. This stunning coffee table book delves into the powerful insights woven into the 75 essential Hebrew words at the heart of the Bible's teachings. Explore in-depth essays that uncover the true significance of each word, their connections to the other Hebrew words, and the fascinating secrets that can only be revealed through the original Hebrew language of the Bible. With translated and transliterated verses in their proper biblical context, stunning visuals, and an elegant design, 75 Hebrew Words is more than just a book. It's an immersive experience that will revolutionize your Bible study, ignite thought-provoking discussions, and make a cherished gift for your loved ones. Discover the power of authentic biblical Hebrew and elevate your understanding of the Bible with 75 Hebrew words you need to understand the Bible. Order your copy today using the link in the description below. So I saw something that I thought you guys might find interesting. Bibi Netanyahu's brother, actually, he talked about Joe Biden's mental health. He said some things, that people on the left probably didn't like so much. So this is from a JNS article that I saw. It says, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's physician brother on Tuesday questioned the mental health of U.S. President Joe Biden. In an interview with the Khan public broadcaster, Dr. Bibi Netanyahu, who's 71, said he does not believe that Biden is familiar with the details of Jerusalem's effort to reform the judiciary, an initiative the American leader has slammed repeatedly. Quote, I do not know what kind of mental state he's in, said Netanyahu, adding that the Biden administration was using the reform as an excuse for its failure to invite the Israeli premier to the White House. So interesting, he's saying he doesn't even think Biden knows what is going on with the judicial reforms or even what the deal is with them. But I think he might have a really good point, Dr. Bibi Netanyahu. I think he might have a good point. Like the part where they're using the reform as an excuse for their failure to invite Netanyahu to the White House. Like, why else would the Biden administration be so concerned about the judicial reform legislation that is happening in the Knesset right now? Because the reform that is being pushed forward in the Knesset is actually, it's just making Israel closer to how the United States is set up. So like, why would I guess the thing is, the Biden administration does a lot of things that just makes absolutely no sense. So it's hard to question it. But why would they not want the judicial reform legislation to happen? It makes absolutely no sense. After a bunch of backlash, Bibi Netanyahu, he did take back his statements. He walked back on his statements, but it's definitely interesting, the original comments that he made. Guys, in some other news, Israel and Vietnam, they just signed a trade agreement. Economy Minister Nir Barkat and his Vietnamese counterpart, Hong Dien, they signed a free trade deal on Tuesday, Israel's second with an East Asia country after the Republic of South Korea. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Vietnamese Deputy Premier Tran Lu Quang attended the ceremony, which was in Jerusalem. The agreement is quote, expected to lead to the reduction of reciprocal customs duties on both imported and exported products, alongside an improvement and easing in trade in a range of additional areas. Netanyahu said, quote, "We've had excellent relations over the past few decades, but this is an important turning point. We are formally signing an agreement that will expand our trade, which is robust, to be even more robust. I look forward to increasing our ties with innovation with all the areas that can better the lives of both our peoples. Vietnam is a vibrant, growing economy. Israel is a vibrant, growing economy, and our cooperation, I think, creates new horizons that will make us more successful together in the future." So that's great. Signing trade agreement with Vietnam. But guys, I want to end the show on a positive note. This video that I'm going to play you, it sort of proves that there can be unity in Israel. You know, there have been talks about civil war happening, a lot of protests going on recently in Israel, but this is just a really great video made by a TikToker, an Israeli TikToker, Yoni David is his name. He did this video where he approaches people. He asks them which side they support. Are they for judicial reform or are they against it? And then he chooses the opposite side. And then, despite choosing the opposite side, he gives them a hug and then gives them a present here. Watch this video here.
שאלה, אתה בעד או נגד הרפורמה? נגד? אני בעד. אפשר חיבוק? איזה נשמה אתה. רגע, שיין, וזה שוקולד. וזהו, שתהיה אחדות בעם. שאלה, אפשר? אתה בעד או נגד הרפורמה? בעד. אתה בעד? כן. אני נגד. אפשר חיבוק בכל זאת? בוודאי. זה כזה, זה יין ושוקולד בשבילך.
זה הזמן לאהבת חינם.
יאללה, אחי.
למרות המחלוקות בינינו, איש בדרכו, איש באמונתו, אבל אחים אנחנו. זה מה שחשוב.
אפשר לשאול אותך שאלה?
כן.
אתה בעד או נגד הרפורמה?
אני נגד.
אני בעד.
יפה.
אפשר לתת לך חיבוק אבל? בכל זאת?
תמיד.
עכשיו אני רוצה לתת לך מתנה. שני בקבוקי יין בשבילך וזה שוקולד. אני אגלה לך משהו? אני לא בעד ולא נגד. אהבת חינם. מה שחשוב באמת זאת האחדות בינינו.
I thought that was a really great, heartwarming video to end the show on today. Guys, make sure to check out Israel 365's 75 Hebrew words you need to understand the Bible book. The link will be in the description below. Subscribe, get the conversation going down below in the comments. We love to hear from you, love to hear what you think about the show or what's going on in Israel. As always, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the land of Israel. We'll be back every Monday through Friday with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.